Well, no,
talking about the tech.
Claire,
There still would have been tech at Willamette.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
There's tech, but it's just, I mean, it's not technical tech. But this is the one race I look forward to, and
Me
I know
too.
that the first year that I got to announce this race for me was hard.
When was that?
That was 2012.
Yeah.
It was 2012, and to be up there and calling that race and having to read, the article I wrote about Claire. I had to stop.
You're a good writer.
I had to stop several times.
Yeah.
It was because just seriously, the guy meant so much, and he was somebody that whether you were a race fan, a driver, a crew member, or someone that worked for him, you looked up to the guy.
Yeah.
And he respected everybody as well. He didn't look at anybody from a different earning group. For example,
you were there to race. You
were family. You were racing family, and that's the way he looked at everybody.
If you worked hard for him, he recognized it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I started out running the old orange-yellow Ford tow truck, and I was towing more rigs with that thing than the other guys were on the other ones. And next year, I got the other truck, the better truck.
But he never did know Tom's name.
Yeah, no. He had my phone number.
You still have your red Budweiser shirt?
Yeah, it's still hanging in the closet.
Well, wear it this weekend.
Yeah. I think I even still have a striped shirt hanging in my closet.
You should wear it this weekend.
I'm wearing my red Budweiser shirt.
I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be at Banks.
Oh, that's
we're going up for the 1,000 to win up there.
That's right. Yeah, I just remember that first night calling the Claire Cup was just, man, that was, for me, it was hard. It was emotional because
well, anytime you know anybody like that, what I mean?
And he's a one of a kind. You'll never know anybody like that again.
That has accomplished so much.
Yeah.
In a small community of Lebanon that made Willamette Speedway known basically from coast to coast by a lot of people.
Yes, it was.
Somebody's heard about it somewhere back there.
Everybody.
So I mean, cars were brought out here to race at Willamette Speedway.
Yeah,
a little whole dunk trail in Lebanon, Oregon.
Yep.
Yeah, and so he did amazing things with what he had to work with. I mean, he was just a working guy.
He was.
That was a mechanic and loved the racing idea, and and sacrificed a lot to do what he did.
Do you remember in the early 2000s when somebody from NASCAR came and wanted to buy the track? I think for they threw $500,000 out there or something like that. Was a story. Do you remember anything about that?
No, I don't really. I know. World of Outlaws talked to him, and they wanted him to number all the seats, so that they could sell so many numbers, and they wanted this much of the concessions, and Claire's like, why?
Yeah,
why would I do that?
Right.
And the other thing, I mean, it's hard to understand. Claire didn't like the big money races because
he didn't like corporations.
Well,
the big corporations.
It wasn't so much that as he wanted his weekly show to be the same every week because you knew what you got to expect. Mm-hmm. It's just like these tracks that do this sliding scale thing, by how many cars they got. That's the quickest way to a death of a track. As soon as you start a sliding scale, the first week you don't have 12 cars to pay the full main. You're going to have half that cars the next week, and you'll only have the few that just want to be there because they got to be there the rest of the season. But he was really wanting to be consistent with his pay. I know he talked about trying a big money race and stuff, but if you do it once, you got to keep doing it. And so unless he had a way to do it every week, or at least once a year, he didn't want to really work that hard. He just wanted to make sure people were consistent. He didn't want to offer up that big race to bring hot dog outsiders to come in and steal away from his guys. He wanted his guys that supported him every week to have the chance to win what he put up.
Right. And one thing I remember about Claire was he did not like one guy winning all the time.
No.
Remember the bounties? He put the bounties up, and the bounties got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Sure.
And Claire thought that he knew how to get the people back every week.
Well,
he put that bounty up.
He liked his fans to see a different winner.
He did.
You know.
And we saw it a lot. I mean, there was eras where a few drivers dominated, but he did what he could, and he did a good job keeping the drivers and the fans there. With those bounty races, when Wagner had won 7 in a row or 6 in a row, and they put the bounty up. Do you remember what happened there?
Oh,
who got the bounty on that?
I don't know.
I'll tell you, the bounty went to the 06 of Monty Murphy, but he didn't win the race. Another driver won the race. I'm not going to say their name, but down in Victory Lane, Claire noticed the right rear tire was too big and disqualified him and handed the money over to the second place car. Yeah, Claire was on point. He knew his stuff. I remember that stuff. I remember the bounties on Wagner and the bounties on we saw him on Russ, and he just knew it was.
It added excitement.
It did.
I mean, it adds excitement.
It did, and I know that all of us really, really, really miss him. I remember the article I wrote that we sent in, and it got published, and Evelyn read it, and she came up in the announcer's booth, and she says, "I want to say thank you." She says, "Somebody finally got it right."
Right.
She says, "I did not know you paid that much attention to Claire all those years you were out there." She was just a kid. She goes, "I thought you were just watching race cars," and I said, "No, I said I watched the guy." I said he was an interesting character, and she said
he was a hero to a lot of us.
He was a hero to me,
no doubt.
And he did a lot, like Tom said, he did a lot of good for a lot of people, and I think it's great that we get to honor him with a race. I wish it was still 81 laps.
Yeah.
I mean,
81?
81 he was 81 when he died. The first year we did the Claire Cup, it was 81 laps.
That's awesome.
I think now we're doing 50.
Yeah.
I think that's, but it's still a great race.
Sure.
It's just it doesn't matter if it's 35 to honor Claire with a race in his
whole
name.
night. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That'd
really
be
cool.
50 for all classes.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be a heck of a show. I don't know if we'd get it in before the
I was
curfew.
gonna say, there's no way we would get that in.
It would be awesome.
That's
I wish
wishful
we could start
thinking.
racing at 2:30 and and do have a big race for everybody for the Claire Cup. But man,
There you
it's
go.
it's there's a lot of memories. A lot of memories of
Definitely.
him. And, there's so many. It's just hard to just bring up one and talk about. I wish somebody would hit us up and share a special moment they had with him. I know there's a lot of people that had those. Guys winning races that were supposed to be $1,000, and Claire would walk out and hand him an extra $200.
No,
Yeah.
Robert Hood, when he used to announce for us.
Yep.
He ventured off to Australia.
Yep.
And started, I think, a parts business over there or something. And things got tough, and he needed to come back. And I think Claire helped him get some money.
Absolutely.
Sent him some money to come back, know. That's the kind of stuff Claire would do.
Yeah. Yep. He was as soft as he was, the old outlaw tough guy.
Exactly.
So it's just sad he's gone. Glad we get to honor him. It's a great tradition. I know that I'm sure we'll see Evelyn at the track. This is one of the races that she makes, and I know when they throw the green
Nice to see
flag.
Bill out there too.
Every now and then.
It would be nice to see
It
him
would
this
be.
coming weekend.
I'd love to see Bill again.
Yep.
Yeah. I know he's having a lot of fun over where he's at, over on the coast.
Yeah.
Getting the fishing and stuff in.
He
'cause
is.
Bill loves fishing.
Oh, he does. And he gets to relax.
Oh, my God. Crabbing fishing.
Yeah.
He is huge into that.
Yeah. And for him to kind of get away from the track, I think he's got so many memories there of his dad, that it's probably hard.
Be
to
like
be there.
Little League going to Daytona. You know?
I mean, it's just probably hard to be there, especially on a weekend where we're honoring his father.
Well, I know, Bill and them grew up fishing because that's what Claire did during his off season. They went to Mexico.
Yep.
And I think they stocked up on their year's groceries of fish down there during the winter.
Yeah. No kidding.
They owned a place in Baja. They had some property and stuff down there, and that's where they went.
Yep. He was he was an adventurous guy. I mean, he was a veteran, loved guns. Claire loved guns.
Boy, and everyone was loaded.
Yeah, every one of them. Yeah, in fact, you remember this?
You don't go out there and drive on his track on some night because you're drunk and you want to do a lap,
right? And you don't run a quad through the campground at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
You knew when it was time to quiet down because the shotgun came out.
Absolutely.
And went boom, boom.
Yep.
And it's okay. Quiet down because you want to go to sleep.
God.
That's
Now, if I
awesome.
remember right, it was Jerry York was out there and everybody partying, drinking out there at the campground. The old days. And he's on a quad, tearing around the quad. It's probably 3 o'clock in the morning. Claire comes out, boom, shut that thing off. Party over.
You didn't say it that nice.
You
but
can hear crickets.
I'm sure, yeah.
It went
Shut
from,
that
yeah. It went from crickets to all you could hear. I mean, it went from like the quad and the party to crickets and campfires crackling.
Exactly.
That's all you heard. And party was over, and you knew.
But
Yeah.
I seen him on
Awesome.
Sunday mornings watching, a kid on a Banshee out there running around the track, freaking putting some laps in, and he was getting a charge out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, as long as you were using your head,
Yeah.
he was good with
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah. Here's someone else on the Swears Trucking chat line hits us up and says one thing they appreciated about Claire was inverting the fields for the mains. That was trademark Claire.
Definitely. You know what I mean? And you could get away with it in pretty much all the classes anymore. The one I struggle with is the late models.
Yeah.
They are so, I love watching the fast cars come from the back. And you still got that split between like the top 6 and all your other classes, except for the late models. The late models, you really don't have that split like you used to have back in the day. But the other classes, as long as you have enough laps, your race doesn't get shortened to 15.
Right.
You have time for the fast guys to get to the
To
front.
make their way. Yep.
So for a fan standpoint, I can really understand, this new format, just like them offering David and Roberts to go to the back and come from the front. They're capable of doing it, so does this
Oh,
format,
they proved that.
Yeah. Yeah.
does this format really fit that class right now? Except for some of these big races when you have 40, 50 street stocks and you're racing for big money. It's one thing when you're racing for $100. It makes for good racing. I enjoy starting in the back, when I was in the sportsman car, because I try to get fast time every week.
Mhm.
I could have balloon-footed a couple times, but there was only a couple times that I didn't land on the back row, but because I like racing, and like down there for the Wallbanger Cup, Kyle drives a 12, of course, because he can't. Wow,
Sorry.
because he can't draw numbers very well, and he goes, "I didn't want the front row, but I really didn't want the back row either."
Right.
Because I like a couple laps to see what the track's going to do before I get to the front.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I understand that thinking. And I know Kyle enjoys running from the back up. And, so the late models, that's a tough one to do anymore. It's because the cars are so fast. And,
Yep.
and everybody's fast in there anymore. And everybody's got good equipment. You don't have that cutoff you used to have.
But with that being said, if Claire was here, where
We'd
would the
still be doing it.
You're damn right we would. We would. That's just what he did. That was his trademark deal, and
But we also ran only a 16-car main event.
that is true.
Because, the 16-car mains went cleaner usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
You always have your nights where shit happens.
Yep. Joey Tanner hits us up here in the Swears Trucking chat line. He says, "I'll start last for a bonus." Bet you would.
Well,
Yeah.
in Claire's format, there was a bonus.
There
in it.
was. If you came out of the dash, it was an extra $200.
Yeah, and if you had fast time, it was an extra 50.
Right.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, you could come out of there with
Little
$1,250,
incentive.
$1,300
Yeah,
bucks.
definitely.
Yeah.
Versus 1,000. So there was some incentives to do that.
There was, and on top of the passing points.
Right.
Yeah. So those guys
And
that
then
did
there's
start,
that.
yeah, those guys that did start in the back he did reward them with 2 points per position you advance, and
And the other advantage of having like B mains and stuff, more B mains and C mains, that your guys that are getting stuck now because they're having bigger mains and are running in, it'll give them a chance to win a main event. Whether or not it was an A main, it was a B main,
right.
and they want a B main. They can tell mom, dad, their brothers, I want a main at Willamette.
Right.
And
They don't know.
and it's still a hell of an accomplishment just to win a C main, a B main,
It is.
especially when you're new and getting started.
Yep.
And it gives you that drive.
Well, it gives
Yeah.
you a reason to you feel like you're getting better, you're improving, you want to come back.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
But you also get frustrated running with the A cars every week, and you're only getting up to 10th.
Yeah.
And it gets a little tough towards the end of the season to go, God, here we go again,
Yep.
And I'm going to have to race against, Kyle and Dave and Kevin and, and it gets frustrating sometimes. I
Yeah.
understand that part of it. But it can make you better too. you know. But if you have those B's and C's to give you a chance to get a main event win, it helps.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And we saw a lot of guys